feelings, nothing more than feelings.
Travis Wayne Goodsell. So, to fill you in on what I've never told you I was doing, but have been doing right in front of your eyes, is you'll notice that all of a sudden I start putting in music clips. And this was done purposely, not to enhance my video image and get more views. Had nothing to do with that. And views are consistent, with or without them. What I was doing it for was to test YouTube employees. Because remember, before I started doing all this new music stuff, new presentation stuff, I was talking about how YouTube employees were attacking me during the lawsuit against the church. And that when I lose, there would be a full-on attack by YouTube employees. And so I'm looking to see if there's a way to complain. YouTube's complaint system is pissed off its biggest users. Let's see. Report complaints. No, I want to complain against YouTube. So they don't have it. Let me try another approach here. YouTube having problems. Down detector. Let's see if I can do that. Well, there we go. I have a problem. Watching videos, uploading videos. Website, login, something else. YouTube employees are exhibiting inconsistent treatment. That represent religiously bigoted actions. Against me as a content creator. Alrighty, so that'll probably be thrown away, but submitted. So the back in the first lawsuit, after we're about a month or so into the coronavirus, I'm recognizing that I'm experiencing coughing fits. And I wasn't sure if it had to do with the mold allergies that I was tortured with by my property manager last year, all summer and into the fall. And the air unit had yet to have been replaced when the fan blade broke, remember? Of course you don't. You're new. And so they had already filed on the Friday the 13th of March, they filed an eviction notice first, and lease violation, and wanted me to sign it to acknowledge that I violated the lease and that I would no longer do it again. Yeah, no, I'm not confessing. I didn't do anything wrong. And I've since proven that, but they refuse to acknowledge it. So I get to use her signed statement of confession and confession of continued criminal activity in the current case that I've now filed. And I was talking on my YouTube video, it was something completely different. Not talking about the church, nothing. It was just me, my own conditions of coughing, because I knew that when the coronavirus was starting to emerge, I was worried because my air unit still isn't fixed, the mold spores are still in the air here, and I was concerned that if I cough, people are going to panic, consider that I have coronavirus, and I get locked up for life. That is a legitimate fear. And so I was doing the video trying to just ponder over what's going on, trying to go over the evidences and the patterns of behavior of the coughing, when I cough, how I cough, and all that other stuff, looking for other symptoms, comparing it with coronavirus and stuff, because I've never been tested. But yeah, they came out and YouTube banned my video. Outright banned it. You know, I submitted the appeal. They didn't care, because they don't tell you what violation of the terms and agreements I was committing. Seriously? I'm talking about my own personal health, and that's a violation of terms and agreements of YouTube. Yeah, whatever. And it took 6 people, so somebody among that 6 reported it, and YouTube accepted it, and great. And so, as the lawsuit was winding down, I knew that I was going to be attacked on YouTube, and sure enough, the property manager reissued an actual eviction. And so, yeah, my fears were confirmed. But now that I've shut down the property manager, and I've got another lawsuit to protect me again, I again started informing you guys that I'm still getting harassed on YouTube as they throttle the videos for your guys' view, making it more difficult to find you. And there are some other complications of computer glitches with the last Windows update. Still haven't bothered to fix it, even though they acknowledged it on their site. And so, yeah, I needed to test if YouTube employees were targeting me, rather than just the surface stuff that may or may not be. I need to test to find out. So I, again, did what I did on my other channel, for which they did eventually shut me down. I started to do the little music clips. And at the beginning, everything was fine. Well, actually, because there was one I did using giving the bunny to his daughter when he's reunited with her from Con Air. And I use a little segment of him giving her the bunny, which I can't do too much because it makes me cry. And I don't do YouTube for money. Never have I done YouTube for money. If YouTube's going to pay me like they did in the beginning for a number of views, yeah, all right, whatever. Who cares? This is not what I'm doing this for. And so the little segments are not copyrightable. And I can't get through to YouTube on this. They refuse to acknowledge this. I am an author. The Book of Mormon, we all know, has plagiarisms. But the only book that is legitimately plagiarized, because you need to understand what plagiarism is. It's not just copying a sentence or a partial sentence or a word. You have to do 10% of the full book. More than 10% to be guilty of plagiarism. And so I can write a book and start it off by the summer of my discontent. Or as Snoopy always starts his books. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. Charles Schulz is not violating copyright when he starts off with Snoopy's book with that sentence. It's not 10% of the whole book, more than 10%, 10.1%. And as long as the rest of the book does not include plagiarism from the same book, you can get away with it. That's why Sidney Rigdon can get away with the dozens of books he took segments from, sentences from, words from. That's not plagiarism. That's something else. And it's something that all linguistic studiers of the Book of Mormon, all historians should be paying close attention to. The only book that the Book of Mormon might plagiarize, but you'd have to argue that Isaiah is an independent book of the Bible, which can be successfully argued because the Isaiah scroll is a separate scroll. And so the only problem with that is that it's not in English. And so the only places where the Isaiah scroll is in English is in combination with other books. So it may be tricky to argue in court, but the Isaiah passages in the Book of Mormon are the closest that the Book of Mormon comes, if not actually does, violate copyright law. And then you have to then wonder, well, okay, it was the 1769 version of the King James Bible. Does that copyright still hold? Now, if you wonder, you don't realize I was born when Kraft Macaroni and Cheese came out. In my early childhood, Kraft Macaroni and Cheese. It was at least by kindergarten, because I remember I was sick in bed with the chicken pox, and my mom said that the teacher had sent home a homework assignment of what my favorite food was and how do I make it. And I put Kraft Macaroni and Cheese. And so I know it was out at least by the time I was in kindergarten. And now, if you go to the grocery store, there's the Kroger brand. There's other companies also doing their version of mac and cheese. Well, that's because the copyright, trademark, recipe. I think recipes are they under copyright or trademark? Or are they registered? I don't think they're registered. I think it's probably either a trademark or a copyright. Let's Google search it. Are recipes copyrighted or trademarked? Patented. So recipes are, well, it is possible to trademark a recipe for branding purposes. Yeah, okay. So either a patent or a trademark. But there's a period of time allowed for the company or the inventor or the author, video maker, music maker, to make money off of their music. But then there's a point where other people can then take from your work. For music, you have other musicians who want to sing your song. There was a big old debate over Trisha Yearwood's How Do I Live from Con Air with Leanne Rimes. Leanne Rimes took her song and made it her own and made it bigger and popular and more money than Trisha Yearwood. And so Trisha was upset. But both songs still exist. Disney got upset with BYU, as BYU were doing a program where they were singing Disney songs. Sorry, Disney. You don't have a claim. This problem exists on YouTube, as YouTube are conforming to the big investor companies like Disney, because if you noticed, I use a little segment from Return of the Jedi. I think. I don't think it, well, no, it was Empire Strikes Back. And in The Empire Strikes Back, Luke goes to continue his training as a Jedi Master with Yoda, and I use the segment. I'm not afraid. Oh, you will be. You will be. I use that purposely for my video message. It has nothing to do with Star Wars. I'm not recreating Star Wars for you in my videos, obviously. But I'm taking that segment to use to help present my message. And the YouTube employees are inconsistent on claiming there's a copyright claim, which means got 'em. They are specifically targeting me, searching to find anything to use against me, and the different shift workers are not in harmony. And so there's a specific one who's targeting me. And so the most recent one I've done, feelings, nothing more than feelings, and that's it. There's a reason why, Mormons, and you all know why, and it should irk you. That's why I use it. And the one, Mormons speak evil of Joseph Smith, saying Joseph Smith is true. I don't use any of the other segments that I've been using. I only use feelings, nothing more than feelings, specifically. And so the first time I used it was the first video this morning, and it didn't come out as a copyright claim restriction at first. He allowed it through after taking his time processing it, and then I noticed as I put up the second one that the copyright claim was attached under the restrictions. It's still available for you to watch. It's just I can't make money off of it. This is their way of threatening me. Do you understand that? There is no copyright claim violation. I can use less than 10%. I can use anything for educational purposes, commentary, news, etc. There is no copyright violation. It is the YouTube employee who is purposely putting it there rather than maybe they're the ones putting the thumbs down. As it used to be 4 and now it's just 2. But now I've caught them because they're inconsistent. And thus I just filed the complaint for religious bigotry, having caught them with the inconsistency. And so the second one, I put in at the end of it the video segment clip of the music clip. Again, testing them out. Confirmed. It's partially blocked with the copyright claim. The first one isn't. The second one, partially blocked in Denmark. That's how petty these guys are being. They're thinking that, oh, we'll show Travis. Oh, found it. Partially blocked. Another interesting thing is that when the guy first decided to put up the copyright claim for the Yoda segment, he said it was the Cloud City music. The second time around, it wasn't Cloud City music. And so, yeah, they're purposely attacking me. And again, notice the titles of the videos. Listen to the content of the videos. I know what I'm doing. I'm way ahead of them. I'm testing. And they're failing miserably. You don't mess with me. And so, yeah, Mormon faith without works turns them into dangerous threats. Nothing. The Yoda thing's in there. No copyright claim on that. Why not? See, they're picking and choosing. No, Mormons, you don't have a ton of evidence the church is true. I used it in that. Where is it? Where's the copyright claim? Accepting fact. LDS Church is false and holding them accountable. Nothing. Mormon Utah governor punishes Utah County Mormons. Nothing there either. Mormon LDS Church slave state Utah. No, not there either. LDS Church prophets destroy Mormonism, yet Mormonisms keep the faith. Nope, not there either. Do you see the inconsistencies? So the person who's working this morning, and in shift may be over now, but there is inconsistencies. And I was doing it to test for them. Although, yes, I would love to be able to do this kind of stuff. Because it just makes for a better presentation, doesn't it? But, David, my goodness, man, you were up since midnight, and you're still going? Do you work at night or something? He's asking me how long I've known the LDS Church as part of the Illuminati. It had to do when I started doing my research on church history. That was back at the end of 2017, after my local bishop, Reed Hammond, he still lives here, Reed Hammond, said, stop promoting your brand new book about how the Book of Mormon is true, about the fall of Adam. Do you catch that? Anybody catch that? Mormons don't catch it. It just goes right over their head. Was it the fall of Adam? Paul disagrees, or rather his redactor disagrees. It is the woman to blame. And so, yes, when I was doing the research on church history, I started with the Carthage jail because Mr. Brother Blunt asked me in Sunday school if I knew that Joseph Smith had a gun. And I said, well, yes, I did. I'm a Fulmer. John Solomon Fulmer is my third grade grandfather. And I've known from my parents, passed down through the generations of my father's line, from the Fulmer side, that Joseph Smith received the single-shot pistol. Well, I didn't know it was a single shot, the pistol of my third grade grandfather. And then he says, did you know there was two? And so I was like, what? Oh, no, I didn't know there was two. Yeah, apparently he had a six-shooter and a single shot. And I went, oh, I wonder which one my third grade grandfather's was. So I began to do the research on that, and then started finding things that were inconsistent with the evidence that the church has been claiming, or the claims that the church was making rather than evidence. They didn't have evidence. And so I said, okay, Bishop Hammond has now kicked me out, and I'm finding that there's some inconsistencies with the church in regards to Carthage jail assassination. And so I need to go back to the beginning and work my way up to see what happened. Because that's what you do when you investigate a murder. Have you not watched murder shows, cop shows, investigation shows? That's what they do. And so I went and started with Joseph and Lucy Mack when they first got married and were living in Vermont. I didn't do their marriage and their childhood. I started where they were in Vermont, having gotten married already. And then I'm finding information about Joseph, because the Wikipedia page says he was a he was a Mason at the Canandaigua Lodge, and I'm not there yet. I'm still in Vermont, and so I have to find out. Well, I'm hearing critics publish books about how Joseph was a drunken bum, and that it was Lucy who was the glue to the family, the religious person, the moral person. And Joseph was just some lazy bum who couldn't maintain a job to take care of his family. She lies, by the way. And so, in the process of doing that research, I also had to do research of American history, because the Smiths are in America. I have to find out what is going on around them as well, to see if there are any crossovers. And yes, there are. And I had to find out, who is this doctor that helped perform the surgery on Joseph's knee? Dartmouth. And so, yes, all things had to be found out and researched. And in that process, that's when I learned about the Illuminati. And so when I got to finding out about the Nauvoo Temple, and it was dedicated on the anniversary of the Illuminati, and it has the inverted pentagram, oh crap. But I didn't stop there. I keep researching to confirm, and I'd already done the background, already knew about Heber C. Kimball's Wikipedia site. So And then Albert Pike's letter, I'd known about that previously, I'd heard about it, didn't know it had any connection to the church. Not until I found it in church history. So, I hope that answers your question, David. And then he says he's ready. Yom Kippur, the countdown is getting closer. Looks like 30 minutes. Yeah, I've got to take care of something first, and when I finish, I'll upload the video for you.